how are you? I'm Pia. Welcome to the start of a new weekly reading vlog. I'm gonna try my best to like keep up with my reading this week and not just read on the weekends because it is my first full official week of work with my children. If you didn't know, I'm an after-school teacher, but I want to be reading now. I have been in the mood for some contemporary fiction. Some general fiction has been my mood. That was my mood last week. Now we know one thing about my mood is that it's always changing. I'm a moody person. So I picked out a TBR of some things that I am considering reading and that I checked out from the library and will probably be e-reading, let's be honest. But if I, at some point, like Wednesday, I'm like, you know what? I want to read a fantasy. I'm gonna pick up fantasy. This is how I make TBRs. This is how my life works with a TBR. I don't know, if I don't read anything until Friday, that also might happen. We'll see how I feel with this work week and like balancing all of my life things. It's new, I'm in a new phase of my life. So things are just new and different and I'm working on figuring out how they all work into my life. So let's get into the TBR and what I'm currently reading. I'm currently reading Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead. I started this yesterday and I'm only 2 chapters in, well, 3 chapters in, and I am liking it. It's not exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting something more akin to like the other books on this TBR, which are like sentimental, I guess, in a way. And this one is seemingly more like funny, or like trying to be more funny, maybe. So it's interesting, and I'm not saying like I'm not liking it right now. I think it's fine, but yeah, that's gonna be the first thing that I pick back up and see if I can get some more into it, because we all know I'm not afraid to DNF a book. I don't think I'm gonna DNF it as of right now. We'll see. Some other books I just got from the library and downloaded onto ebooks on my iPad are Queenie. I don't know anything about these books. I know this just became a show and I would really like to watch the show, but the thing about me is I cannot watch an adaptation if I don't read the book first. I don't know, I've heard this is also very funny and I don't know what it's about. I know it's British. And I heard it's funny. What else I checked out from the library? I also checked out from the library Una Out of Order, or Una Out of Order. Una? I think it's Una. Because I actually do own this book physically, but the thing about me is I have like maybe 5 to 10 books of my physical TBR with me in Boston where I live currently. But I have like 40 books on my TBR that are packed in storage from when my parents moved house. And I just will not have access to those. So Una Out of Order is a book that I do own physically there, not here. So I was like, I should read those. I'm trying to read more books off my physical TBR, even though I don't actually physically have it with me. Does that make sense? I don't know. But this one's kind of like weird. This is the only kind of like speculative light story in the list, but I think it could be fun, like a fun change of pace. And I've been seeing more and more people read this book recently, and it's by an Emerson graduate, and I did in fact go to Emerson, so. And then the last book I got is another Frederick Bachman, because I read a Frederick Bachman last week, and he's one of my favorite authors, guys. Like, he's one of my favorite authors, and I haven't read all his books, so I'm like, I should amend that, you know? And I think I am in a Frederick Bachman mood. So I might read My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. And the thing about me is I never know what a Frederick Bachman book is about until I read it. And I'm really excited. I'm sure it's gonna be sad. I mean, it's tagged as humor, the fuck. If this is anything like The Way Home gets longer and longer, I'm gonna cry my eyes out. So I'm hoping it's not, but I'm sure it's gonna be great. I'm sure it's gonna be great. It's Frederick Bachman. I've gotten my like few little chores done this Monday morning already because I just had to do a couple things. I didn't go on a run today because I ran 10 miles yesterday. So I'm taking a break. Someone is hopefully gonna come and fix my oven today because my oven is broken, does not work. And I tried to make cornbread and it's in my fridge now. Yeah, hopefully that'll be fine and I can make it and I can put it in the oven and it'll be fine. Yeah, my oven doesn't work, so someone's hopefully gonna come by and fix it. Whether or not that happens when I'm at work, I have no idea. But we're making bookmarks at work today. Very excited with my little children. But yeah, I think I have a little time to read before I eat lunch and skedaddle off to work. So I'm going to read Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead. And I just hate long titles. It's a really annoying title to say. I'm gonna read some more of that. It has long chapters, which I really don't enjoy. Like long chapters. And I think that's really putting me off from reading it. I also don't really love the narrator. not the narrator of the audiobook, but like the main character. I don't love her so far, so we'll find out, we'll see. And yeah, I noticed my last vlog did not have a lot of cat content, so if you're looking for more cat content, it will be in this vlog because I think that's a necessity. So with that being said, I am going to start reading and stop talking and hopefully enjoy my book. I realized as I sit here editing last week's vlog, I'm like very close. This is like makeup tutorial close. I realized as I sit here editing last week's vlog that I didn't record that many updates. So I am here to update you while I edit. Hey! Multitasking. I am almost done with Everyone in This Room Must One Day Be Dead, and I wanted to give you a little update because I don't know what I was saying the last time I updated you, but I definitely am liking this a lot. Like I think since I read The Guest, which I don't think I vlogged. I don't think I vlogged when I was reading that book. But I read The Guest. My review on Goodreads is literally like, it's so Brat Summer. Like that book is so Brat Summer. Like if you're looking to like rekindle some Brat Summer this fall, read The Guest. Since I read that book, I realized how much I like books about people like pretending to be someone. I don't know if that's a genre. I don't know if that's a genre. I don't know if that's a trope. I don't know if that's like a thing. And like, you know, I'm like, oh, I like curses. Like this is one of those like weird things and oddly specific things in books that I really like. I like people pretending to be someone they're not, which is not like hidden identity, which I think you could confuse it for, but it's not hidden identity. That's different to me. But I guess you could argue it's kind of hidden identity. I'm trying to think of a hidden identity that I've liked. I'm gonna argue and say it's not hidden identity. But I am really liking that about this book because I think it's like really fun to like see people get really like in like a Hitman style, like Hitman the movie, like in a Hitman style like thing of like getting really involved and entangled in this fake persona and this fake life, and also like trying to juggle like real life. Like I think that's really fun, like being in over your head and like stuff like that. I think that's fun. So that's like one of the main things that I'm really enjoying about this book. But I also kind of have really grown to be like endeared to the main character. Some of like their habits and like the way that they would like talk about stuff, like I was getting kind of like, I get it, but like you're just so mentally ill. And I think there's part of that, like this is about like a depressed, anxious person. So like if you're not if you can't handle that, like that is definitely what this book is about. But like I don't know, some of like her personality is showing through more, which like I think is really hard to do, like genuinely, like as a writer, like I think it's kind of hard because I feel like a lot of critiques from books about mental illness, about characters with mental illnesses, is that the characters themselves become their mental illness and they don't really have character outside of that. So I really am liking like kind of learning more about her personality and getting more about her as a person rather than her as like a diagnosis, you know? So that's really how I'm feeling about it. And I did read last night, so go me. I did read before bed, and that's how you know I'm enjoying a book. If I read before bed, it means I'm enjoying a book, because I don't usually read before bed, but I have been lately. So I'm taking that to mean my reading bug is coming back. Not that I ever like am like, every time I say I'm in a reading club, people are like, you weren't in a reading club, you've read 800 books this year. I understand that my reading club is different than yours, but like to me, like I go a week without reading and like that's me being in a slump. So I do feel like I've got the reading bug back again, and I'm very excited about it because there are just so many books that I want to read. There's so many books at a little time. And I'm just happy I like feel like I have more time this week, and I feel like I have like a level head about like everything that's going on in my life, which I know I haven't been like filming a lot of my life stuff, but not a lot has been happening. Not a lot has been happening, to be quite honest. It's just I go to work and I make dinner and I come home. I come home and I make dinner. And that's life, baby girl. That's my quick little update. I hope you enjoyed the clickety clacking of my computer as I delete clips. I do think that the next book I'm gonna read is gonna be Una Out of Order, because I'm actually just like really in the mood for that, which might mean I'm leaning in a speculative direction, but I'm hoping it doesn't mean that, because I have so many like good books in my TBR that like I checked out from the library that I want to read. But I do think that's the next book that I want to pick up. And I'm wondering, I might have time to read in school today. In fucking at my job. So we'll see if that happens. Friends, I'm joined with Hilda. Can you see her? She's right there. It is, oh, I was just about to say Thursday and it made me so happy, but it's Wednesday. I was like, oh my gosh, guys, it's a Thursday. It's almost Friday. No, it's Wednesday. I finished a book last night and I started another book. I was very much in a reading mood before I went to bed, which has become my new thing, guys. I don't want to say like it's a habit or anything, but I'm really proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself for like reading before bed because, and even reading on weekdays, I'm just doing a good job. Anyway, so I finished Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead. Is that what it's called? I don't know. I think that's what, gosh guys, I am giving like every book I read 4 stars and it's not on purpose. I do think I'm reading some good books, but the thing about this one and my rating going into it, I really enjoyed it. I think I was telling you yesterday, like I really like the whole like taking on a new identity and like that crumbling. Like I really like that idea. But there's also like a mystery going on in this book, which started kind of becoming the thing that unravels the identity portion of the story, which I didn't love because I just don't like mysteries. I don't like mysteries. And it's a real problem because like I have read like many a mystery and I've always given them a go and I've been like, I'll give it a shot, whatever. And then I rate it like 3 stars and I'm like, ugh, I didn't really like that. Like, and like every part of like a mystery book is like the mystery that I don't like about it. So I kind of have decided like kind of semi-recently that I'm not gonna like read or watch like mysteries because I just know I don't like them. Maybe that's problematic of me. maybe I'll get canceled for this, but I don't like mysteries. I'm sorry. So that just like, it became a mystery and obviously that's not something that I enjoy. So I kind of didn't love it, but I was enjoying it. And I do think it's a good book. I do think I will check out the author's newest book. And what was really cool is yesterday I actually had time at work to read because my kids always have reading and homework time like first thing when we get them, and I actually read while they were reading and it was beautiful. They were quiet. It was so nice. I had almost 30 minutes. I mean, I had a little bit of just children coming up to me being like, when are we done reading? What time is it? How much time's left? But I had almost 30 minutes of uninterrupted reading at work, which was really cool. But then I also started another book, which was not any of the books on my TBR. I started, what's this book called? Lost on Me. This is a book originally written in Italian, and I was thinking about reading it in Italian, but I don't know if I could read. I don't know if my level of skill, this is like a side issue, but I do think I want to like practice Italian more because it's something that I studied in high school and college, and I haven't had like any practice with it since then. Since then meaning like in 2 years or 2 or 3 years. And I don't want to lose the little bit of knowledge that I have. So I'm thinking of some way to like integrate that into my life. Anyway, it's like a random tangent. I was thinking about that last night because I was like, should I read this in the original Italian? But I decided not to because I'm like, I think I can read like books I've already read and books that are more like children / like young adult in Italian that are more like simply written rather than like this book. And I also hadn't read it yet. So I was like, I don't know if I'll get the full book. I got like 20% into it. It's a really short book. It's called Lost on Me. I already said that. And what do I even tell you about this book? It's a really weird book. I mean, it's not super weird. It's like, how do I describe this book? It's just like a literary fiction book. Like, it's super short. It's about this young woman and it's about her relationships, and I'm gonna make it sound really fucking boring, but there's this whole chapter about constipation, which is really funny. I don't know how to pitch this book, but I'll tell you about the little things I've read about it. And then there's like this chapter about like there's a lot about like her relationship with her brother, who's like this genius, and her relationship with her mother, who's like constantly just anxious about like everything and like is like constantly concerned for her children's well-being and is like, are they dead? Like, I think they're dead. And she just is like doing like funny quirky things of like running away and like stealing things and getting into entanglements and like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. Sometimes like a literary fiction is so hard to describe because it's like literally what the fuck. Like, I was thinking also, because I've been reading a lot more like contemporary fiction / literary fiction, which I know are 2 different things, but and I was thinking about it, I was like, I would love to be able to like write like a contemporary fiction, like a literary fiction. But then I was like, I don't like know how to write without a plot. You know what I mean? Because like this book ostensibly doesn't have a plot. It just has like a bunch of like little snapshots into someone's life, and I just like don't know if I know how to do that. But anyway, that was just something I was thinking about as a writer. Anyway, but that is gonna be the book that I read during reading time today. So hopefully, I don't know, it's like 100 and something pages, so it's really not that long, but that's what I'm reading. I just picked it up decided on a whim to start reading that because I was like, I also am getting into I have an itch to buy some books, and I'm getting paid this week. And I'm like, can I buy books? But no, I'm gonna wait until my next payday, which is gonna be either on or before my birthday. And then I'm gonna do a birthday book haul and get some books and treat myself a little bit. So I'm saving. I'm still saving. Still saving. But I kind of have to get going to go to work. My life is so boring. My oven is broken, so like I can't do cute little like baking montages or anything. That's really what's up. I couldn't really bake anything. I was thinking about it, but I can't. I am going to read more of Lost on Me and probably finish it today and then start another book. So I have a feeling we can get quite a few books read this week. I have a feeling I'm just like in a good reading mood. I have a feeling we can get a lot of books read, so. Hello, my friends. So I just got back from getting groceries at Trader Joe's. I don't think I vlogged yesterday, but I do have quite a few reading updates for you to let you know on this lovely Friday morning. My contact is like, I think it's backwards. You know when you put in your contact backwards? It happens to me all the time. I DNF'd a book. I started 2 other books. Let's talk about them. So I DNF'd Lost on Me. I got like 70-something% through it, and it's a short book. But I have to tell you, something about it was just not working for me. Like conceptually, really liked it. Like I really liked like the idea of it. However, like the writing was so, it's hard to explain because it wasn't like hard to follow in a way that like I couldn't understand, but like it was hard to follow in the way that like I blinked, I finished a chapter and I blinked and then I couldn't process, like I didn't process what I read. So like I honestly like didn't absorb anything, and I'm like, and I was really confused and I was a little concerned. I was really confused and a little concerned, and I was like, do I not know how to read? Like, do I have no reading comprehension? And sometimes I get concerned about that because I read so much and I read pretty fast, and I was like, is there something wrong with my brain? And then I switched over and I started another book. I started Homesick for Another World, but the Otessa Moshfegh short story collection. Even though I don't like short stories, I wanted to start it. I want to read all of Otessa Moshfegh's work, so I started that collection. And I read the first story and I was like, oh, so like I understood what happened. Like, oh, so like I absorb that information. It was just that other book's fault. So I DNF Lost on Me, which is really unfortunate, and I'm sad about it, but we're moving on. So like I said, I did start Homesick for Another World. I read the first 2 stories. The second one was so gross. Oh my god. Otessa Moshfegh is like, I want to meet this woman. Like, what is in her mind? Well, I know what's in her mind. It's crazy and it's gross. And I didn't love the first story, and like the second one was more interesting, but also gross. And I think there's like 10, upwards of 10 short stories in this collection. It's also a pretty short book. So that's what I'm new reading, because I figured, as much as I don't like short stories, I did want to read this because it's Otessa Moshfegh, and also I figured it might be easier to like read in between like when I'm doing reading time at school, although we don't have reading time today now that I think about it, because it's Friday and we don't have reading time. All right, well, I won't be reading that at school, so I thought about it. I'll be definitely finishing that at home. Anyway, I'm gonna read that book and I'm liking it. I did also start a children's book, a middle grade book, because I am like, I spend most of my day with children at my job, and I kind of wanted to, I don't know, I wanted to read some like books that like they might be reading or like they might be interested in. And I haven't read middle grade in a really long time. So I kind of wanted to like check in on what's out there as well. So I picked up From the Desk of Zoe Washington, and I'm like over halfway through it. I'm just like listening to the audiobook because I love a children's book on audio. I love an audiobook, let's be so for real. It's about a girl who's like trying to get entered into this like baking competition. So she's interning at this like baking place, and she is also dealing with the fact that her father is incarcerated, but she also like never knew her father. So she starts writing letters to him in secret, and is learning about that, whether or not he's wrongfully convicted or stuff like that. And it's really interesting, especially like to read a book that like tackles like such huge topics, like just like institutional racism and stuff. Like it's really interesting to see that like in the lens of like a children's book. I say this a lot when I read children's books, but like it's really interesting to see like what a children's book can do, topics like that, because I feel like when I was reading books growing up, like they weren't doing that, like they weren't teaching me anything. No offense to the books I read growing up, but like the Rainbow Magic Fairies did not teach me anything. Yeah, I find it really interesting and I am enjoying it. I think it's very cute and is handling things well. So I'm enjoying that, and I'm just gonna just like kind of keep picking up like children's middle grade books every so often, just because that's the nature of what I do. Yeah, and I also just need a palate cleanser because I'm reading a lot of literary fiction right now. And I don't know if I'm moving out of the mood for it. Because the thing about me is I'll set myself a TBR, I'll borrow books from the library, I'll download books on my iPad, and then I'll go, you know, I'm not in the mood for that anymore. I don't know, like this weekend, I definitely have lots of time to read, and I'm sure I will be doing lots of reading because that's what we do. I'm hoping to go to the library as well, maybe tomorrow. I don't think I'm in the mood for literary fiction anymore. I think once I finish the Otessa Moshfegh, I probably won't read any more literary fiction because I think I need a change of pace. And I don't know what that change of pace is gonna be. But those are my thoughts. Hello, my friends. It is Saturday. I have had a very chill, yet somewhat productive morning. It's 1 p.m. I slept in today and I did some laundry, and that's pretty much where we're at in the day. I did read more of Homesick for Another World yesterday. I'm up to, I want to say like the 6th story or so. Actually, I'm on the 8th story, guys. Amazing, doing amazing. Almost halfway through the book, but I'm unfortunately like not really enjoying these stories. And I know I've said before, like I'm putting myself in the position because I know I don't like short stories. And like, yeah, like I know I don't like short stories, so like, why am I reading a short story collection? I don't know, but I find the audiobook, so I think I'm gonna switch over to that to kind of finish her up, just because I could DNF it. I have no opposition to DNFing books, but as we know, it's an Otessa Moshfegh book, and I do kind of want to make like a video. I want to kind of do, this is so random, but like I have like a lot of video ideas, not just the weekly reading vlogs, if you can imagine. But I do want to do like a full like Otessa Moshfegh like deep dive. So I do want to read all of her books. So this obviously needs to get read. So I don't want to DNF it for that reason. And I just want to have more credibility when I make that video. So I am going to finish it. I'm going to listen to the audiobook and finish it that way. And I do also want to finish the middle grade book I'm reading. I'm really unfortunate because I'm in like a baking mood and I really want to like bake something, but I can't do that. So I'm gonna listen to those on audio and get through them. Hilda. And I think that the next book that I'm gonna start is another book I didn't have on my weekly TBR that I told you about in the beginning of this video, but I did just get it from the library. And that is called I Who Have Never Known Men, because I believe this is translated. This is a book that I've like had on my radar for a really long time, and it sounds really interesting to me, and I've heard it's really, really good. So, and it's short, so I do really want to pick that up because I just got the loan from my library to read that. So I'm gonna read that after I finish my other 2 books. Unfortunately, I'm not like loving anything I'm reading right now, so I'm just kind of hoping to finish those things off and get to a book that I do hope and think that I will like. Okay guys, happy Sunday. My hair's a little wet because after going on my long run and taking a shower, I went immediately to the library, pretty much, because library is my home, is where I feel safest. Like I know I say that a lot, but like on a very serious note, I was in the library and I was just so like content and like at peace. And I haven't gotten in a couple weeks like since I moved, and like before I moved I was like trying not to have library books because I was going to be moving. I was just so happy to be back and just taking my sweet time browsing the shelves. And like I know I genuinely probably must like look at the same exact books week after week because I go there so frequently, but it's just like a new experience every time, and I always get new books and see new things and read new things, and it's just so exciting. I love my local library. I'm such a library girly. It makes me so freaking happy. So I'm gonna show you my little library haul, and I was gonna say, and then we'll have a reading update. we surely don't have a reading update. Let's look at the books I got. So the first book I saw there, this is actually kind of in order. First book I saw there was Yumi and Ulysses S. Grant. And this is so silly. I think it's literally like a humor book. My cat is scratching now. And it's just kind of like a biography, but like a jokey biography of Ulysses S. Grant. And if you didn't know, Ulysses S. Grant is my favorite president. And I read Grant by Rob Chernow years ago. And so I have read a biography of him, like a more comprehensive and like full historical biography. But like this just seemed so funny, and I saw it and I was like, this is literally meant for me. Literally meant for me. I have no idea when I'm gonna read this, or when I'm gonna be in the mood to read this, but it just seemed like so perfect. So I had to get that. And then I also saw there If I Had Your Face. This was actually recommended to me so long ago. The phases of the channel. It was recommended to me so long ago. And by a subscriber, because I was gonna do a video of like reading subscriber recommendations, and then I never did that. Anyway, so I am gonna finally read it though, hopefully. I don't remember what it's about, but I just remember it was recommended to me and I was like, well, personal recommendation, I'll take it. And I saw it and I was like, perfect. So this book, which really intrigued me, it's called The Death of Bunny Munro, and I basically read the synopsis and then I looked it up on Goodreads, and it has like pretty good reviews. So obviously the bunny on the cover is like really what gets me, because not that I liked Bunny, but I guess it's just really interesting. And the actual like original cover of this book is like creepy and like weird. It's like a realistic bunny. It's like a bunny costume, which makes me think of anxious people. But anyway, this is about like a father and son going on a road trip after death of a parent. Oddly, it was kind of giving me like if The Road was like a literary fiction. And yeah, I was kind of getting those vibes. So then I saw this book. They had like 3 copies of this book, which is really good actually, which I've seen just like everywhere for the last couple of years. I think this came out probably like 2. Oh, it literally came out last year. And I'm like, oh, I've seen this everywhere. This has been like everywhere on my feed and stuff. There's something about that I don't like. Like I don't like the oversaturation of something, and I tend to not read like popular things or things that I see everywhere. But this one just kind of stuck in my brain, and it seems like a book I would actually enjoy. Just like messy protagonist, dealing with a breakup, 29, like vibes. Like it seems like something I read a lot of and I do tend to enjoy. So I was like, maybe the rumors are true, you know? Maybe it is actually good. So maybe it's really good actually. And that was really funny. And no one laughed. I found this and I had never seen this before, never heard of it. And it must have been published recently because it looks really new. Yeah, okay, this was published in 2019. So this is Sylvia Plath's short story, Mary Ventura and the Ninth Kingdom. Now, if there's one thing about me, it's that I was a Sylvia Plath kid growing up, and I really like Sylvia Plath. I read The Bell Jar in high school probably, and I just always loved Sylvia Plath. As a depressed teen, I loved Sylvia Plath, and I'm always like wanting to read more things that she's written. I'm not a big poetry person, unfortunately. But I do want to read more of her like fiction and stuff, which she doesn't have a ton of. But this is just like one of her short stories, and it's literally like 40 pages, if that. Yeah, it's like exactly like 40 pages. So I might actually read this in this vlog. If I don't, I'll read it next week. But like, I just love Sylvia Plath. And I saw this and I was like, I've never heard of it. I gotta read it, it's short. And we know how I feel about short stories. And then the last book that I got is The Rosie Project, because I actually was not paying attention to how glary this is, but this is The Rosie Project, which is the movie Love, Rosie is based on this book. And I just read that the Silver Linings Playbook was also written by this bitch. And that's kind of iconic because I remember my English teacher in my senior year of high school was talking about Silver Linings Playbook because of like the story of how that was written. Like this author took a year off, I think he was a teacher, took a year off and like tried to write this book and like didn't write it, and then took another year off and then wrote the Silver Linings Playbook, and then here we are. But anyway, I want to get back to my roots. No, I want to get back to my series of read, react, review, where I read a book and react to the adaptation and then do like a comprehensive review of them. They are my favorite videos to make, and they're my favorite videos I put out. My favorite videos that I make are like ones where I cross books and like movies and adaptations and stuff. They're my favorite videos to make, but they are very hard, and I am having you don't hear my sob story. I'm having like computer troubles right now. My computer would not be able to handle me making that video right now. So I had to wait, and I'm getting a new computer, so it's all fine. But that's why I haven't been making those videos, and that's a thing I want to continue to do because I love those videos because they're so fun. Yeah, and I also just like kept seeing Love, Rosie, and I was like, I can't watch this movie without reading the book. The thing about me is I cannot watch an adaptation without reading the source material unless I don't know it's an adaptation. Sometimes I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think. I think A Simple Favor I saw before I read the book because I didn't know it was an adaptation. Like, I really tried to make a habit of reading a book before I watch the adaptation, which makes me a little crazy, but it is something I do. So I don't know. I think it's a friends to lovers story. And it's giving me One Day, and One Day was what I thought the first video of that series, of the Read React Review series I was gonna do, that I was gonna do back, but I think I'm gonna do Love, Rosie first. These are the books that I got from the library. I don't have a reading update because as much as I tried to read yesterday, I really didn't. I don't have anything to say about that. I was being very lazy yesterday. Today I have the Chiefs game, and I want to accomplish a few more things before the Chiefs game at 4. So I'm going to finish Homesick for Another World. I'm gonna pop on the audiobook and just finish it out because I'm not liking it, and I hate reading things I don't like. That's gonna take me like an hour, and then I'm gonna finish my other audiobook, and then we'll see. Then we'll reevaluate. Then we'll reassess, reevaluate what I'm doing. Guys, the Chiefs game just ended, and I simply had to record a vlog clip because I'm trying out my new ring light. I just got like a small ring light to improve the quality of my podcast because I realized we're gonna be recording at night and I have no lighting in my apartment. So how do we like the ring light quality? Because normally this would be like very dark besides this light. So I think it's great. I think it's working out well. But I finished those 2 books and I started that other book. So I finished Homesick for Another World. I gave it 2 stars. It was so freaking bad. I don't want to be that negative. I just don't want to be because I do love Tessa Moshfegh. I do love her. Like, what a weirdo. I love her. But like, there is not like a single story from this collection that I like really enjoyed. There is not a single, like, there are ones where I was like kind of like, oh, that's weird and gross. Like, interesting. But I really didn't feel positively about like any of the stories. I liked Beach Boys. That one. I liked Mr. Wu, kind of. Like, I was grossed out by it, but I liked it, I guess. Yeah. I really did like the short story collection. And then I finished From the Desk of Zoe Washington, which was so sweet and so good. I gave 4 stars. It was so lovely. And there's a second book, so I might read that. I'm so happy. I love middle grade, and I love middle grade that just like makes you feel good. And then I started I Who Have Never Known Men, and wowzers, guys. Okay, I was like not prepared for this book, and I don't know. Okay, so did I describe what it was about? I don't think I did. I definitely knew what it was about, and I probably forgot. The thing about me is I probably forgot what it was about. But this is about women who are trapped. Well, not presently. This is about a woman reflecting on her time being trapped underground in a bunker with all these other women. The way it's written, I really enjoy because it's really like sad, which is like a crazy thing to say, but like it's really sad, and it's not like there's nothing light about it, and they're not trying to make light of anything, and they're not trying to like sugarcoat anything or like see the best out of the situation. It's just like, this is all I knew. But even saying that, even now that I'm saying that, this woman, like, or girl or whatever, like was able to like have highlights and like was able to like kind of do things for herself that made it better. And like in that way it's really interesting because it's like, oh, like she's trying to learn how to count time because like their schedule like doesn't seem to be like running at a normal 24-hour cycle, and like they're in this bunker so they don't know how much time passes, and like they don't know how old they are, and like the schedule of the guards of like what they're doing and when they go to sleep, and like it's just it's really interesting and I'm really enjoying it. I genuinely like I'm assuming it's gonna be like, and then they got out. You know, like I'm assuming it's going to be like a story of like escape, which I think I'm into. I think I'm into that
because I think that's fun. I could see this not, like, I could see this really being different, like, and just not doing that. Because I don't foresee this, like, having a very nice resolution, you know what I mean? It doesn't seem like one of those books. But this is all speculation. I haven't finished the book, so it's not a spoiler. These are all just my thoughts. But I'm going to watch a movie tonight because I'm gonna do a video of, like, recommending fall books and fall movies, and I haven't seen that many fall movies, so I'm gonna watch them. I'm gonna watch Stepmom, I think is what it's called. It has, like, Susan Sarandon and Julia Roberts, the queen of literally all cinema. And then I might listen to more of the audiobook tomorrow. I'll do a final wrap up tomorrow, what I read this week and my final thoughts. But I'm gonna go watch that movie because it's getting late. It's 7:30. The game just got over. I was like, the Chiefs won. Time to film a vlog clip. Time to watch a movie. It's 7:30. It's time to get ready for bed. So I will talk to you all tomorrow. Alrighty guys, I'm here to wrap up this vlog. So I didn't finish I Have Never Known Men. I got like 30% into it basically, and I'm definitely gonna finish it in next week's vlog because I'm super interested in what's going on. Like, I have predictions and I told you like my predictions, but like I don't know, like it's, I don't know. Something's gotta happen. I don't know. That wraps up this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.